Oh baby, I like it raw, living, and vegan. I cannot do that. Hi, it's Boots McGillicuddy here. I write the blog with the exception of Taco Tuesdays, and this is episode 2 of Oh Baby, I Like It Raw, Living, and Vegan. If you didn't watch episode 1, you should. It basically speaks of my inspiration for doing this. My dad recently had 2 strokes within a week period. And at that time, well, at this time right now, it just happened, he was twice my age. And it got in my dome a little bit, it freaked me out, and I knew I needed to make some changes. So if you haven't checked that one out, you should. So my husband and I decided we initially wanted to do some kind of detox. You know, when you get to a point you've just been eating junk and like you feel like your body is made out of like Fritos and mayonnaise, and you just feel like heavy and like you can't move because you don't want to, and you're like, good God, someone put a piece of fruit in my mouth. That's kind of where we were at. And then with, you know, the new health issues with my dad, we were just inspired to do some kind of detox type thing. And after doing research and looking at countless videos of people much older than us that looked younger than us with tons of energy and tons of wonderful things to say, we decided that we should do a raw diet. And basically what that includes is fruits and veggies, sprouts, seeds, and nuts. Nothing processed, nothing heated over 116 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll let you research and Google on your own the health benefits of not breaking down enzymes and not heating up food past that point. To us, it made the most sense after reading plenty. At first, it seemed very extreme. A lot of the people that we saw, it just sort of gave us this sort of weird new agey impression, like we were afraid our friends and family might think we joined a cult or something. And it just didn't make sense. Like, how could you live? How could you survive? These people must be, you know, bowing down to some cosmic force because you need more protein than that. But really, basically what I realized is that I wasn't educated on, you know, what's in these natural foods that are out there. And so actually now, as we learned more, we decided that we'll go beyond a 30-day detox and probably make this our lifestyle. I mean, Woody Harrelson does it, and we adore him, so we probably should. So we started this on September the 25th, and I mean, Saturday will just be 2 weeks. We haven't even been doing it for 2 weeks. What I noticed is that I say the word a lot. Anyways, can't be self-conscious. Get it out of my head. Now, the hardest part for me was caffeine, cutting caffeine out of my diet. You know, I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. Maybe I haven't mentioned that yet, but I do. And I'm an exhausted, crazy person most of the time. And I have built up a habit of drinking a 12-cup pot of coffee on my own every day. So I have about 72 ounces of coffee at home. And then, you know, if we go somewhere, a lot of times we would stop at Starbucks and just get, you know, a size humongo coffee for the road. And it was getting ridiculous, but I didn't feel like I could make it any other way. So that for me was the hardest part. There were migraines and just total withdrawals, you know, like you would feel removing an intense drug from your body, because caffeine is a pretty intense drug, especially at the strength and in the amount that I was drinking it and depending on it every day. Something that I realized, though, is that every time I diet or change the way I eat or restrict something, I always keep coffee as part of my diet, because in my mind it's a crutch. I have to have it. I need it. And, you know, during this time, all I can think about is food. When's my next meal? Is there some way I could, like, bend the rules and make it taste delicious? You know, or maybe I didn't really need to cut that certain thing out of my diet, you know, and I I think about all these things, and I think about it all day long. And without coffee, I didn't think about food. I didn't obsess about food. The only thing I thought about was coffee. You know, I'd be sitting there just a mess. And, you know, I thought, oh, if I could just have one cup of coffee, then I could clean this whole room and maybe go 20 minutes without, you know, verbally abusing my family. And, you know, just, but I made it. By day 3, my husband and I both noticed that this whole thing got a lot easier. And you read the stuff, and a lot of people say it's usually about 2 weeks, and that could be for you. It could be longer or shorter. You know, and a lot of people describe almost scary flu-like symptoms as your body gets, you know, rid of this stuff. Day 1, we about killed each other. We were cranky. We were exhausted. Day 2 was sort of a weird fog where it was like neither one of us had a single emotion, high or low. We were just sort of there. And almost waiting for it to be bedtime type of thing. The next day, we started to notice that we weren't wanting any of the food that we used to want all the time. We weren't craving certain things. We noticed our appetites were a lot smaller, and, you know, we didn't need to just eat tons of nuts or tons of really sugary fruit. You know, celery was tasting delicious, things like that. Things that maybe we hadn't experienced before. And we were satisfied very quickly. And we started to realize this is actually pretty easy. It was like we had gone past a point, and it was awesome. So about 4 days ago, I don't know, maybe it had been a rough day with our kids. We just didn't prepare like we normally do with prepared, fresh, cut up stuff. We were busy and probably hungry at the end of the day. What we realized was that, sure, we didn't have the cravings, but what we missed was the actual activity. We missed eating food, that ritual. We missed putting the kids to bed and getting something indulgent that we wouldn't necessarily share with them. We associated it with unwinding and spending time together, and it was so ridiculous because we weren't craving the flavors necessarily, but we ended up getting Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I think it was about 4 days ago. And it was like we had to talk ourselves into it. It was so silly. And I think we knew it was a mistake even in the decision process of it. We were already deciding this would just be an isolated event. If this was going to be a lifestyle, then we had to indulge every once in a while, you know, all that whole thing. And so we ate the ice cream, thinking the next day we would just bounce back, whatever. The next day, I was like an emotional wreck. You know, I started flipping out about things. It was crazy. It was weird. I wasn't myself. And then suddenly, all of those obsessions that I had with food prior, all those weird cravings, they were all back. And it so wasn't worth it. So again, every time I'd open that fridge, I'd see a dang piece of broccoli, and I just, you know, to me, that's all I saw. All these things that I didn't want. I couldn't see any of the good stuff that I had been eating previously. It was just all, I don't want it. I want something hot and cooked and, you know, hopefully including bacon and ground beef and cheese in between a nice carbolicious bun, you know, smothered, and I could go on. Anyways, that night, we ended up ordering from our favorite Chinese, you know, and had a very happy, naughty time with some General Tso chicken, and sounded bad. We just ate the chicken on our couch and we watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know why I described it that way. Anyway, and there you have it. Off track. Fell off the wagon. Like I have a million other times, doing 100 other things. And so my husband works out of town half the week, and he went out of town. This was yesterday. And I just raided our pantry, and things that we'd kept around to feed the kids, and just things that we hadn't gotten rid of yet. And it wasn't even that good. It was just against the rules. by the end of the night, I was feeling like I was, I was eating like granola bars and stuff like that. I wasn't eating, crazy, crazy stuff. But by the end of the night, I could feel it. I might as well have been eating mayonnaise and Fritos. Not that I've really ever enjoyed that combination together. But anyway, I had that feeling again that my body was just lead and gross and disgusting. And I think I felt it so quickly because I had already known what it was like to be, free of that stuff. So I researched and I found that a lot of people that live this way, when they fall off the wagon, or even just once a month or so, whenever they feel like their body needs it, they'll do a water fast, meaning they only drink water, no food, nothing else to drink, just water. And what I learned as I researched is that when you fast, it's sort of a rest and rejuvenation cycle for your body, similar to sleep. Basically, when everything else is removed, your body, knows what to do without confusion. Sort of is how I understand it. There's more to it than that, but I'll let you, again, Google that yourself. So I decided today, starting at midnight last night, to start a water fast. And I made it till 2:30 this afternoon. I was tired. I had my kids. My husband's out of town, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't for me, but it was effective. Because by 2:30 this afternoon, I opened my fridge and I didn't just see a bunch of stuff I didn't want to eat. I saw big, beautiful peaches and crunchy celery and just things that sounded so good to me. And I'm back. And that's all I want to eat. Maybe taking myself a step further and depriving myself of even those yummy raw foods made me appreciate them again. I don't know, but I feel like it, maybe didn't give me all the benefits of a 3-day water fast, but I feel like it helped me get back on track. So there you have it. I think there's one more thing I want to include. I'm not sure that was it. Oh, one thing that we noticed is as we looked through videos and different people's blogs, we noticed that it was a different type. There was this whole group of, I don't know if hippie's the right word, but we couldn't identify with them. And so we felt it was really important to sort of do this as someone that wasn't raised in this lifestyle, hadn't experienced anything else. But what I started to fear was that a lot of people describe, crossing over and, being enlightened and suddenly becoming very light and floaty. You hear countless times, and suddenly I was light. I hope that means I'm light on the scale. The light on my feet. I told my husband I don't want to be weird. I don't want to dance in the forest with, a wooden staff, and I don't want to change my name to fairy goddess of the clover unicorns or, and it seems like it happens a lot, and next thing you know, I'm going to have some crazy yin-yang tattoo somewhere, and I don't know. It did freak me out. I don't want to change who I am, I want to become healthier. I want to become a better me. And I don't think that has to include certain ritualistic type things. Not that that's bad. It's just, it's not a part of my identity right now. Anyway, my husband said that if I start to become a little too light in my loafers, that he'll go to McDonald's and get a McDouble and just sort of rub it in my hair and bring me back to reality. So I love him for that. And I love you too. You can do it.